Heart of Oak is brought to you by Timberland Pro, Marvin Windows and Doors, Midcape and AZEC Trim,
and these valued partners.
The sport of rowing is very interesting, especially when you row a small boat, because there's nowhere to hide. You have to perform at your best in all aspects of your life in order to succeed, and there's no one to lean on. One of the first memories I ever have was with my dad, and he put me on a countertop next to the sink, and he handed me a light switch cover, and he handed me a screwdriver. And he said, put it on. That to me is a memory that is the foundation of who I am today. I was raised in a blue-collar family in Connecticut and Massachusetts because my family divorced when I was about 3 and my mom moved us to the Cape. You know, I was surrounded by the tradespeople all the time. Both my dad and my stepdad were in the trades, and it just rubbed off on me. You know, my dad and I had a really tough relationship, and so I saw working with my dad as a way to spend time with my dad. It was the only time I spent with him. There was a lot of great moments. There was also a lot of really tough moments because I would want to do things a certain way. It just got to a point where nothing was ever going to change. I actually remember the day where I said I never want to touch a toolbox again. During my college career, I was really becoming a pretty good rower. I was finally in a spot in my life where I was controlling the direction. At that point, it was this pivotal moment in my background where I decided that I was going to focus on training. My ultimate goal was to try to make a national team. Around 2008, I had a pretty bad injury with my back. I had had an invite to train with the team out in San Francisco. I made the choice based on doctors' recommendations that I take a year off. And that was my fast early retirement from training. And I had no career. I didn't know what I was gonna do. And here I am, 28, 29, with no direction. During this time, my now wife, Lizzy, stood by me. And we made the decision that we were gonna move to Boston. That thus started this new world for me of being in a corporate career, which I had never experienced. What happened was I just started getting burned, super burnt out. But I also knew I wanted more. I wanted to call my own shots. And so at that time, I decided I was gonna flip a house. For 9 months during the week, I was just an absolute mess when it came to my corporate career. I was just so unhappy. And I found myself working on the house all weekend, and I was just relaxed. There was something about doing something for myself and knowing that I was bettering my own future and I was in control of that was so gratifying. We listed that house and we sold it in 2 weeks. And I say to myself, well, we definitely need to do that again. I remember the time I had gone to upstate Vermont to coach rowing for a week. And I'm up there and I'm totally relaxed. I'm on the phone with my wife. And she says to me, you should quit your job when you come in on Monday. I get home, I go to work Monday, and I quit my job. So at that moment is the moment that I actually picked up the tools again. You know, I always said I wanted to run from it, right? And now here I am going back to my roots. And we built that second house, and then we did our third. I finally made that conscious decision that this is what I was gonna do, that I wasn't gonna go back to the corporate world. And I didn't realize in those first 3 houses I was setting the backbone for a business that was gonna turn into Oak Development, but you know, it just naturally progressed. I'm envisioning what needs to be there. I'm working with blueprints to make something come to reality. And that to me is so satisfying. Those are the things to me that make my business so exciting. And those are the things that get me out of bed every morning. There was something about rowing that I loved because I was controlling my direction. And throughout my years after I had to stop training, I never found that again. I went into the corporate world and I didn't find it there. But then when I went on my own, I was moving in the direction where I know I control my future. And I think that's why I love what I do so much now. Over the past couple years, I had rekindled my relationship with my dad. I think for a little while, he had a hard time admitting that I had moved away and started my own thing. But this last year and a half, he really came around. So we did lose him this fall. To what everybody can relate to, and that's COVID-19. I know that when he passed away, he was deep down really proud of what we've done. I remember this fall, I could just sense that final sense of calm between us. I'm at a point where I'm proud of what I've done. I'm proud of the team around me, and I know he would be too.
When PJ and I first started this, it was just the two of us.
We decided to take all our savings and dump it into a house on the side while I was working full time. We didn't actually think we were starting a business. I was just doing it to pay off debt, pay off college. The houses just kind of took over, and it was very unexpected, but I just kept doing it. The first house I ever did, I did mostly everything. It was grueling. I worked nonstop for 9 months, 7 days a week between both jobs, and I needed help. As a small business owner, hiring your first employee is a big deal, because now all of a sudden you have another family to feed. Then 1 turns into 3, turns into 5, and then we got a little too big, and my attorney was like, you really need a LLC, you gotta name this thing. I went from a guy in a truck building houses with his dog to a CEO.
I did a few jobs for PJ. And then when I ran across him, he told me he was looking for a guy to do odds and ends things. I said, yeah, I'm the guy.
I've been following Oak for a long time on Instagram, and they were building cool stuff, ultimately. They were thinking outside the box. I met PJ at an open house one day. He said, why don't you come work for me? 4 hours later, I was sitting on the back porch at Oak headquarters drinking beers.
Oak Development and Design is like a household name around Hingham. I've been here for about 12 years in town, so it's impossible to live here and not have heard of Oak. I met PJ and Lizzy through mutual friends, and this opportunity came about for us to work together. And I think it was just a good fit. And we both dove in and decided this is, I think this will be a good partnership.
The job description was office manager, and I didn't know what that meant to PJ, but I quickly found it meant a little bit of everything. Like all of us, we wore many hats. At one point, I think he had 17 jobs going at one time.
We came from a long line of family business. It was always kind of in our blood. And with my background in accounting and finance, he felt that I could help him. I have by far the best team ever with Rochelle and Lee. They help me manage PJ, which is, it's not easy because he's going in 100 different directions all the time.
And just kind of organically, PJ and I just started chatting about kind of the business model and what he wanted to do in the next step of his business, and it really aligned with my goals, and it was kind of a natural fit. The thing that was really exciting for me is that I get to build operationally a real estate brokerage from the ground up.
My environment is about taking risks, but then also trusting my employees and them feeling confident to make decisions and feel passionate enough about what they do every day to help us grow our business. There's only so much I can do. So to have guys like Tom and people like Lee and people like Rochelle and people that most people don't even see, like having those people behind me to support me so that I can go out and do what I'm good at. And that's selling, it's landing deals, it's negotiating, it's finding investors. Like, that's my job.
When a project ends, we can't wait to take the next one on. We have to like already have that in the queue. And so PJ has to find the stuff that is going to be the next thing coming.
You can never underestimate being patient when it comes to finding real estate. You just never know when it's gonna happen. I drove by that spot hundreds of times because I had done a job down the street. So when I saw the address on Google Maps, I was like, I didn't even know there was a house there. And then I drive by, like, oh my goodness, there's this amazing corner lot with this house hidden by the overgrowth. I didn't even have to go in it. Just driving by it, you could see opportunity.
So PJ often comes to me with ideas or locations of places that we could buy. I would say maybe 50% of the time, I'm like, I think that's not a great idea. And that's the nature of this business, right? You got to turn down a lot of opportunities. That's not a bad thing. When he told me where this house was, without even seeing it, I knew it was a no-brainer. So World's End is a really special place. It's owned by the trustees. It's preserved and protected. It's hundreds of acres, and it's this really special spot in Hingham that no other surrounding town really has. It's rolling hills with lots of trees. It overlooks Boston and the harbor. So when we had the opportunity to do a house in the World's End neighborhood, it was a no-brainer. It's definitely one of the most highly desired spots in town.
We have a lot of challenging aspects with this job. Number one, it's really a large build. So trying to estimate the materials is really tricky.
There's a lot of ledge, and with a lot of ledge, you don't really know what's underneath the ground.
This entire lot is rock.
We drove up and he says, I just bought this. And I says, oh no, tell me you didn't. I says, you any idea how much blasting you're gonna have to do here? I says, we drive up the road and there's nothing but boulders sticking out of the ground the size of cars. The rock is so hard, you can't break it with a hammer. So he has to drill holes, stick some dynamite in there.
So one section of the lot could break really easy and not be a problem, and then the other section could be really hard. It could be 30 grand, it could be 200 grand. You just don't know.
The lot itself is a corner lot. It was pretty overgrown, severely overgrown, and the house that was there had been there for a long time, but it was not something that we could salvage at all. Unfortunately, we did have to take it down. When we knew that it came time to tear the house down, PJ actually came to me and said that he had heard about the Hingham Fire Department using homes that were going to be demolished in training. And so, of course, he got in touch with the Hingham fire chief, and I think they were excited to know that they had the opportunity to use this house for some of their training.
Having access to a house that they could do whatever they want to and destroy windows and doors and cut holes in roofs and take caps and chimneys off, whatever they want to do, is invaluable for training. You could smash or break or do whatever you want. Tom and I decided we were going to throw the gear on, and the guys were very generous in letting us do so. I think they were ready to laugh at us. You look pretty official or lame with your glasses. I look real official with mine.
Here's another one.
All right, what are we doing? We're really just smashing this window?
Talk about
Kyle, you ready? 3, 2, 1. It's a lot harder than it looks. Jesus Christ. Oh. I don't think there was any skill or teamwork at all with me and Tom. It was just pure cannibalism trying to get through that front door, and we looked like idiots. But it was fun. Once the smoke cleared and the fire department left it was time to go to real work. So I took initiative to get the house down. This is the moment of a project where I doubt myself, where I'm like, oh man, I hope I was right. I hope I did my math right. I hope the market's gonna be strong, and I start to doubt myself a little bit. But then after a couple days where the house is gone, the foundation is ripped out, and the lot starts to clear, and all the stumps are gone, that's the moment when you're like, okay, I see it now. You realize you have this blank canvas and you have this opportunity. In other news, we got our permits dialed in. We got the hammer there, hammer's going, and now hopefully, I think we have to blast. I would say 3 weeks. I'm hoping we have concrete going in the ground and we have a foundation in. Okay. I'm putting the window order in, which is enormous.
I mean, I feel like the whole process on that house is going to be uncharted territory as far as the size of the orders and materials.
I have to remind myself sometimes, like, just trust your gut and go with it. And that's hard to do, especially when you have millions of dollars on the line. The main reason I wanted to chat was I wanted to follow up on the whole Martin's Lane thing.
Okay.
I think this project is gonna put us in a different stratosphere.
I agree. Who doesn't want to be in World's End, and with the project you put together and you know what it looks like, thrilling.
I'm excited. I mean, this is the biggest project I've ever done. We're taking it to a whole nother level of finish, and we want to make sure that we're executing it perfectly.
I think it's important too, as we go through economic cycles, to have that relationship, and we have trust. And that trust is so important to be able to continue to get these done.
And it's been really easy.
That's great.
So, thank you. You know, now I just got to hit you for about 5 more that I have under my sleeve.
We love it. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you. Look forward to this project.
Yeah.
The benefits of doing this is that, number one, the design of the project is beautiful. Being able to say we built that is just going to be so huge. But it's risky, right? It's a project that's going to take a tremendous amount of time, tremendous amount of resources. I think it's like an 18-month project. So it's a lot. So you have to kind of build the rest of the business kind of around this flagship build that you're doing in order to continue to make it all work.
This is the new Oak, right? Like, this project, in my opinion, is putting me where I want the company to be moving forward. It's amazing, beautiful, outside-the-box projects that are big enough that we can really focus on that project and not get pulled in 20 directions.
I am super excited to do this World's End house. It feels somewhat daunting. It's 7,000 square feet. So that's a lot of space to design and a lot of thought that has to go into the cohesiveness of the design throughout such a sprawling space. I want to really step up this build. This house in World's End, it has just in general higher expectations from all angles. We have to make sure that we have everything dialed in and that everybody is ready to step up and execute this house to the level that we are trying to sell it at.
I think the Martin's Lane project is really pushing the envelope and kind of really pushing what's possible for Oak.
This is it. This is the culmination of everything I've done for the last 10 years for myself and the last 25 years in this business. It's like I'm given a platform to really do something unique and special, and I'm gonna hold myself responsible. You get to a certain point where you've jumped off the deep end, now you gotta swim. So I think we're there.
Yeah.
I'm really good at destroying things. I'd like to think I have some finesse on top of that. Just cut it. Oh! Yeah, that was the closest I've ever come to flipping a machine.
Guys, you spelled my name wrong. This is when PJ like really thinks he's a designer. The first house that I did all the design.
The first
that's not true.
4 houses. Looks really heavy.
Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't here.
Go ahead.
Wait, we're going in? Oh. Okay.
So you show up on a job site with no boots, no gardening gloves on the day that we're gardening.
Shocking, shocking. You know, it seems to be time to go.
It's never the right timing.
No wonder it's wrong. It was upside down.
You gonna rake it out with the machine?
No.
Oh, rake it out with the
Right. Handfuls, man.
Are we rolling? Speed. Does that mean we're rolling? Do we have to get consent forms from all the kids with the pails too? Is that?
Go on. Let's go. Oh boy. Oh! Nailed it! Boom! That was the cheesiest thing I've ever done.
He's the one always like, you know, like a little kid in a candy shop all the time. And I'm the one saying, okay, calm down. Stop. Stop it.
Stop what?
Drive the vehicle.
Stop it.
His kids do the same. I think they just have fun running around these big houses. And I'm not quite sure. They do see them on TV, and they've been on TV. So they have a sense that I think they're celebrities. I think they know.
Where's my weed whacker? Mel's house. The dry pad, back seat. Where's my dog? Right there.
Good thing you're here.
That's a big deck.
That's not a big deck. It was a nice deck.
My deck
But
was
we can make
way
it bigger.
bigger than his deck.
Oh, we can make a bigger deck.
We can make a bigger deck.
There's no better place to grab a jalapeno off some random plant outside. Boy, that's hot. Oh my God. For real, it's so hot. I thought that was gonna be funny, but actually that was awful. What do you think of the addition of my truck?
How did you do that?
So stupid. Does that look better or worse? How we doing?
Sorry, Santa, you're gonna have to go through the front door this year.